Scaling an agency to 10, heck, even 20, 30K a month is honestly just so fucking easy. And if you can't do it, you have to be some sort of retarded, malfunctioning fucking matrix robot if you aren't able to do that. And despite that being said, I want to give a more realistic glimpse on why it's so easy and how you can apply the things I'm going to share today to make making money more easy and to make scaling an agency more easy. Which, and for context, this isn't like send your outreach. While that's genuinely really important, I'm going to talk about a lot of the more mindset side of things. I think a lot of people miss and don't adopt, that actually is what holds them back from seeing success, because everybody knows fundamentally how to scale an agency. Okay, pick a problem that somebody has, go find a solution for that, go offer the solution to those people, hop on the call, show them a solution for the problem that they have, sell them. Like, simple as that, right? Everyone knows that fucking bullshit, right? But a lot of people forget about the actual, some of the psychological games that go into scaling an agency and why the odds are stacked against you if you don't understand these things. And that's what we're going to dive into. So grab your fucking notebook out. Okay, if you don't have a notebook, you're literally making life hard on yourself. So go get yourself a notebook, go get yourself a fucking pen, and also do yourself a favor. Right now, before this fucking video starts, I'm going to give you some of the best advice you'll ever hear in your entire life. Do me a favor. Full screen this tab. Grab your fucking phone, either turn it completely off, put it on Do Not Disturb, or throw it in a different fucking room. And before you do that, go delete every single fucking app that wastes your time, every single social media. Go fucking delete it. If you look at my phone right now, okay, look at this. Look at my apps I have. 2. And for context, I have over 80 messages on messages right now. But guess what? You can't see them. And I can't either. Why? Because I don't want to be distracted. I have every single notification turned off on my phone except for phone calls in case it's important. Why? Because I don't want my energy to be diverted to things that do not matter. When someone sends me an email, it's not important right now. I'm focused on me and my mission, so I don't give a fuck. I'll look at it later. I'll look at it when I want to look at it, okay? So do yourself a favor and do that, because that will be more useful than anything else I could ever say, is do that and focus on you and lock the fucking... Anyways, now that you've got rid of your phone, you full screen this with a fucking notepad, let's talk about how to make your business a bit easier and how to use some psychological tricks to make making business easier. So the first thing is the taking action part, which I think is where we'll start, because it's fundamentally the first issue you run into is it's hard to take action. And while there's 100 things I can say, like, oh, like taking action is hard, doing the cold calls is hard, so is being broke, and like you just have to choose which hard you'd rather have. I think there's an even better one we could talk about, which is that the bigger the why, the easier the how. And that's that a lot of us get into business, but we kind of forget why we're in business in the first place. Like, we're like, oh yeah, I just want to be in business because people make money and money sounds cool. But we don't really have a reason why. And if you notice, some of the most successful, the ultra, very, very tremendously successful people have had a really big why. As a matter of fact, I'd argue that the biggest increments of growth in your life have happened after a period of a big why, whether that be after a big breakup, or whether after a family death, or after a big disagreement. Every time we have like a huge burning why, the how gets easier. And the way to pose this, and I guess how to sort of conceptualize this, is imagine if all of a sudden you had a baby on the way. Do you think that you would struggle to find motivation to hit the gym, make your cold calls, send your DMs, if you knew you had a baby on the way, and if you couldn't find a way to make enough money, you couldn't provide for the baby? Well, I'd argue you probably wouldn't struggle. And that's because you have a really big why. And so the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of us forget why we start business in the first. It's like, oh yeah, I just start business because of whatever reason. And we kind of forget why. And then we start doing it and we're like, man, this is hard. Because it is hard. Anyone that tells you it's not hard is fucking an idiot. But I'll tell you how to make it easier, right? But if you forget your why, it makes the how so much harder, because now you're second guessing yourself daily. Every single day you second guess yourself. Okay? Which actually brings me to my next point, which is that you are just a byproduct of everything you fuel yourself with. And no, I'm not talking physically the food you eat, while that is important. I'm merely talking about the psychological fuel that you fuel yourself with. And what I mean by this is the people you hang out with, the music you listen to, the books you read, the shows you watch, the YouTube videos you binge, all those things create you for who you are. And so the point is that a lot of us make business harder than it is. We make life harder than it is because we fuel ourselves with things that do not propel us to the next level. I make a very conscious and cautious effort to make sure that everything around me, my friends, the music, the podcasts I listen to, everything around me, even my wallpaper and the books I read, are things that fuel my mind, my heart, my soul, my brain with positive energy, or at least with some sort of beneficial trait to me, right? Like, and a lot of people aren't very cautious of this. They don't really think about what's entering their brain at all times. I'm very cautious of the things that enter my brain. I don't like to I cut off all my negative friends. If one of my friends being negative, I will straight up tell them, hey bro, you're being a fucking bitch. You're complaining all the time. I don't like it. I don't want to be around people like you. If you're to keep doing this, I won't hang out with you. And for some of you, it may sound really brutal, but that's because I actually care about my friends. And if you can't say that to your friends, you don't care about them enough to want the best for them. And I say this because not only do I want the best for them, but also for me, I'm selfish and I don't want to be around people who are constantly negative. But so many people, and like the easiest way to make business easier is to surround yourself with other people who constantly push you and lift you up. It's the easiest hack you could ever do, is to optimize your environment for success. And so when I say optimized environment, people typically think of, oh, my work environment. While that is important, and I do recommend, like, hey man, get rid of all your social media, turn off all your notifications, get rid of anything that does not directly make you more money or level yourself up, clear off your desktop, get rid of your fucking PC, get rid of all your games, right? Like, move everything off your desk so there's nothing there except for, your notebook and, maybe a water bottle. That's what I have, and I have a candle too. Okay, get rid of everything on your desk that you do not need and optimize your environment for success. But when I also say is optimize your environment, I also really mean optimize your head and the things that go into your head. Optimize your friend group. Optimize the people you hang out with. Optimize the things you listen to, the things you watch. Optimize everything in your life to help you perform better. Right? It's really, 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 really easy to get good at business if all you ever do is hang out with people who are good at business. And so a lot of people, it's one of the most fundamental principles is like, hey, surround yourself with people you want to be, but we don't do it. And that's why I think business is so hard for so many people, is because they try and do it on their own. They try and do it by themselves. Always. They try and do everything alone because they have a really big ego, right? Or maybe they can't find the friends. I've fixed the thing for that. If you want to check the link down below, I won't talk about it now. But they make an already difficult situation more difficult than it should be. That's the equivalent of running a marathon. Well, running a marathon is hard, but let me do it in a weighted vest with no shoes. You're just making it harder for no reason. And so instead of trying to make it harder on yourself, make it easier. Start to lift off some of the weight. Start to put some good running shoes on, right? In the sense of feeding your mind, body, and soul with things that will actually help you and propel you and fuel you with the right necessary things that actually will move you forward. And so this is primarily with your friend group, right? A lot of people, the easiest way to make business so much easier is to start hanging out and talking to people who only talk about not the problems, okay, but the right? How to make more money, their business, etc. And fuel your mind with this idea that money is abundant. I attract money. And level your mindset up. One of the easiest ways to make more money, make business easier, is to fundamentally change your view on business and money in the first place. One of the easiest switches I ever had in my life when I went from making very little money, working 9 to 5 to making a lot of money with my agency, is changing my view and my perception on making money. Instead of looking at money and putting money on the pedestal as this, crazy big bad wolf that's like scary to talk to, yada, 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 I looked at it as my equal, as like, hey, this isn't special. Like money, I'm abundant. Money is abundant. It's just going to come to me. And as a byproduct, as a result of having that mindset, making money started to become easier. Why? Because I believe that. And this brings me to my third point, which is belief. One of the most fundamental principles to make anything in life easier is to believe. It's that simple, right? If you believe in something, it makes it easier to do that thing. And so a lot of people don't actually really believe in themselves, right? They don't truly believe in themselves, right? I am absolutely one of the most delusional people I've ever met. People tell me all the time, Stefan, you're delusional, and I am. Right? But that's because I have the utmost belief and conviction in myself to do the things I say I'm going to do. And to most people, they seem delusional because they don't have the same mindset as I do. And that's fine. Right? I'd argue that's why if you're delusional, it's good. It's good to be delusional. Because guess what? There's a reason why it's called the 1%. Not everyone can do it. And that's why what seems delusional for some is really good for others. Okay? And so, yeah, I'm delusional. And I think that's actually a really, really good characteristic in a lot of successful people is they're delusional. Let me ask you this. Do you think Elon Musk is delusional? Probably. Imagine when he split his money half on Tesla and SpaceX. Really risky move, but look what happened. That's pretty delusional, right? But that's what happens when you're fully convicted in yourself and your plan. I think that a lot of people make business so much harder on themselves because they don't actually truly believe, and as a result, their aura almost presents that to everyone else around them to the point of like, hey, this guy's not really confident in himself. I don't think I'll be confident in him. Right? And this lack of belief projects on other people. As much as you don't want to show it, you can tell. When you talk to someone, you can tell if they believe in what they're saying. I'd argue that the reason if you're watching this right now is because you believe what I'm saying and you think that my words carry some weight with them. And that's because I really believe in what I'm saying and I say it with passion, with energy, and with full conviction. And I'd argue that you wouldn't be watching if I couldn't do that. I would just be another boring fucking video. Okay? And so to tie this last point up is that if you want to, like, one of the easiest way to make your business, your life a lot easier is just undeniably believe. And I'm not talking about like, oh, you have to have the undeniable belief that like, you know, yada, yada, yada. You just have to have undeniable belief and conviction in yourself to figure it out. Like, you don't have to know everything. You just have to have the undeniable amount of belief and conviction in yourself to figure the thing out. And if you can have that, everything else will fall your way. Everything else will fall your way. If you are the kind of guy that's like, I don't care how or what, I will get what I want. I don't know how, I'll figure it out, but I will get it. You will get it. I don't know how or when I'm going to get this fucking McLaren, but I will get it. I will. I believe that. Undoubtedly, I will believe that. And as days go on, I have a way and way better and clearer plan of how I'm going to get it, to how it's going to happen. But I know whether it's tomorrow or next year, I will get this fucking McLaren one day. And I truly believe that, to the point where I'm delusional about it, to where people say I'm crazy. And that's what I want. I want to be crazy. If you're not being called crazy on a day-to-day basis, you're probably doing something wrong. Your goals aren't set high enough. If people don't laugh at your goals and bat an eye, your goals aren't set high enough. You're not doing something crazy enough. You're doing something normal, something average, right? If you feel bad, if you feel like weird sharing your goals with people, you're probably on the right path, which as a result will make you feel lost a lot of the time. I think one of the, Iman Gaji talks about, it's one of the telltale signs of, you know, you doing something right is you feeling like you have no clue what the fuck is going on. Because that to some degree means you're doing something. Because a lot of people that aren't doing anything know what's going on because they're doing nothing. They're just sitting in their bedroom scrolling TikTok. And so it's pretty easy to know what's going on. There's no chaos in their life because they're not doing anything. And so if there's chaos in your life, it typically means you're doing something. You're taking action of some sort. And that's building an environment where you're growing and changing. And growth happens outside the comfort zone. And so yeah, it'll be difficult, but that's the whole point. Because that's what's going to grow and propel you to that next level. Another thing that, you know, more practical in the business sense, a good belief to hold is this idea that money is abundant. There's a lot of money in the world. I just think that the money would be better spent with me. And this actually a belief I have around money, which is that I think people's money would be better spent with me than elsewhere. Here's the thing. People spend money anyway. And if you look at where majority of people spend their money, it's on stupid bullshit. Like designer bags and McDonald's and a bunch of fucking bullshit. I know that if they spend it with me, I will give them a better return than they can get on most other things they buy. And therefore, I feel good about taking people's money. Taking sounds bad, but you get the point, right? About getting money because I know it's better spent with me. And that's a belief that I hold that served me well. That makes business easier. Because instead of looking at money as this big bad wolf, I look at it as, hey man, like, you're going to spend your money anyway. Might as well spend it on me because I'm going to give you a better return. Which brings me to another thing, which is this idea of human to human interaction. A lot of people forget that at the end of the day, business is just two humans doing business, doing some sort of barter, some sort of exchange with each other. That's all it is, right? You know, I don't care if you're a Fortune 500 company talking to another Fortune 500 company. At the end of the day, it's one human talking to another human. That's all it is. And we forget so much that at the end of the day, right? The person on the other line of that phone is a human. And if we could just acknowledge that and act like that, we would close so many more deals and business become so much easier because we'd stop trying to pretend we're somebody we're not and put on a fake face of somebody that we are not, project ourselves as somebody different because that's not who we are. And I think that a lot of people misunderstand this, and as a result, they try and like be super professional and businessy, and they get nothing done and they get nowhere because people don't do business with people. I take it back. Sorry. People don't do business, okay, with things, with products, with businesses, with logos, with domains, with websites. People do business with people. And so the better you can become at presenting yourself and connecting with people on a more emotional level, the more business you'll have and the easier business will be. This is why people with a big network typically end up making a lot of money, because they understand that at the end of the day, it's just human. And the more connections you have and the more, I guess, personal you are with somebody, the easier it is to end up working with them. Because at the end of the day, humans are humans. All right? We're not some crazy, far out fucking alien. We're a human. And if you can hold that belief, I think it'll serve you really, really well, as it has for me, which is that at the end of the day, everybody's a human. Every single person that you talk to is a human. And if you can start to treat them that way and realize that, it'll make your business so much easier, because it takes so much of this unnecessary pressure off your back when you're talking to prospects, etc., etc., etc. Another thing is this idea of rejection, right? Which is that we for whatever reason assume that no is bad. As a young age, we've attached no with a negative connotation, right? Of like, oh, well, when someone says no, it's bad. When in reality, I'd argue no is good, because no just means that you're one step closer to a yes. And if, I were to pose, let's say you're cold calling. If I were to tell you that, hey, after 99 no's, you were going to sign a 10K client, how excited would you be to start calling and getting a no? Well, you'd probably be really excited. You'd probably be like, oh my gosh, I just want, give me 99 no's as fast as possible. You'd be like, holy shit, I hope everyone says no to me, right? And you'd be counting down like, holy shit, we're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close. And you get excited because you know that eventually you're going to get to the 10K piff, right? Here's the thing, is business is exactly that. There's just one difference. It's not guaranteed it's going to be the 100th call. Maybe it's the 40th, maybe it's the 400th. The point is, it's not guaranteed. The problem is people lose conviction, they lose belief that this could happen because it's taking so long, and therefore they give up. But the problem is, it's going to happen. It will happen. You just have to keep going, because every no gets you closer to a yes. Every no teaches you something. Every no pushes you forward and forward and forward. Every single no. And so if you knew guaranteed that after X amount of no's you would get to a yes, how excited would you be for a no? Well, probably a lot more excited. And so all you have to do is just change our perspective on our situation. As a matter of fact, in life in general, if you're ever going through something you don't want to go through, all you have to do is change your perspective, because your life is only what you make of it. And your reality is just your perspective and your perception on life, right? And so if you can change your perspective and change your perception of what's going on, you'll have a different outlook on it. And instead of looking at no as bad, look at it as, hey, every time I get a no, it brings me closer to a yes. And you're going to start looking for no's. You'll start to be excited. You're like, man, thank you for saying no. Out of curiosity, why did you say no? Thank you. Have an amazing day. And you keep going and going and going and going and going. After a bunch of no's, you've learned, and boom, you get the yes. Cool, hey? The problem is most people just can't stick to it long enough because they lose conviction. That's the one fundamental difference with business to anything else, is that in entrepreneurship, there's nothing guaranteed. Right? In the gym, if you go for 5 years, you'll have something to show for it. You can be in business for 5 years and have nothing to show for it. Heck, it could leave you in the red. That's the one difference, is there's nothing guaranteed. That's why people lose belief so fast and so often, and so many people give up because they don't know if it's going to be for sure. There's no security. But I think that's what makes business so cool, is the fact that there is no guarantee. That's what makes the game worth playing. That's what makes life so cool, is the fact that eventually there's an end. And there's no guarantee of how it's going to live. We just know eventually it'll end. So why not live it up while we're here? Check out links down below if you want to go chat with me more often or see some of the stuff I have to offer. Peace.